Hey, everybody, welcome to the original Blueprint. Hey. So, tonight we are going to be talking about dreams. And I mean, dreams are vast, there's a lot to this. And I used to think dreams were just, like, oh, you go to sleep, you have a dream, you wake up. And that's it. Like, I used to write them down when I was little, but I never really thought too much about it, never gave it much like, oh, like, is there something else going on here? But as we've been on our journey, which, by the way, today is my 1 year, like, that I, like, when I woke up. That's what today is too. Today's my anniversary, my, like, birthday, because I really feel like I got, like, a new lease on life last year, like, literally.
Right.
So with the dreams, I guess we could start, like, really the fact that, I don't know, like, for the way that we talk about it, dreaming is really not just you're sleeping and you're just, like, imagining something. Dreaming is more like you're going to sleep here, but you're, like, awake somewhere else. So I know for other people, they're probably like, well, say what? Like, what does that even mean? But, like, this is not all there is. And I know you were watching that thing from Dolores Cannon the other day, and it was talking about the silver cord and stuff. So I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit too, because that I think is, like,
that was
deep.
Well,
deep,
yeah,
deep.
because that was kind of like confirmation for me. It was like, on TikTok stuff just comes up or whatever, and she was just talking about how there's like a silver cord that like holds, I guess, everything together that I guess we can't see, of course, but like basically, like you were saying, when you're asleep in this reality, then you're awake in other, like, realities, and, like, you're doing all kind of stuff and just whatever, and I was just amazed, and I called Melissa, like, as soon as I heard it, and actually I sent it to her, because I was like, whoa, because it's like something we always talk about all the time, and we were actually experiencing, like, I was experiencing like, literally, like, seeing myself before I even, like, I could see myself, and I know it's gonna sound weird, I could see myself getting back into my body and waking up in this reality, and still sometimes, like, being, like, bewildered, like, where am I? And then my body would, like, hurt because I was, like, actually in, like, a battle or fighting something or doing something or being really physical in the dream state, and then I woke up here and I would feel it. So I'm like, this lady is saying this, and, like, of course she's been out for a long time, so what she's saying is something that she's been saying. I just got up on it. I mean, I've heard of her before, but that just came in the algorithm on TikTok, and I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? It's like when you are, like, it's like now it's coming to a time when you're, like, talking about something, it'll just pop up. It'll just pop up. Yeah. So.
And that's the crazy thing. It's literally like, oh wait, I'm hearing feedback. Do you hear feedback, or you're good on your side?
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, okay. All right. As long as it's not like something. It might just be my.
Still hear something?
No, now it's good. Now it's good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I was thinking about how, because when I was little, I used to have some really crazy dreams, and I never thought too much about it, but it was always something that, like, I would wake up and, like, they were so vivid, and I was like, God, that was so real to me.
Yeah.
And then as I woke up, and, like, as I've been on this little journey, and, like, I think I think you're always waking up, but then you have, like, that that minute where you're like, that was my moment of clarity that we wrote about in the book. Like, that was my thing.
Yes.
And as I've been going through this, I'm really sitting with the fact that, like, yeah, like, we're sleeping, right? But we're awake somewhere else. So wherever we are, like, I like to compare it to, like, being on a Star Trek ship, because if we're here and our our like soul is somewhere else. Like I don't
Mhm.
really know I don't know where it goes, what dimension it's in, what is going on. Like I have no idea. But to me, it just makes so much it makes so much sense to
Right.
me that being asleep here, like you have to be awake somewhere else. But where are you? And then as you're dreaming, you're having all these adventures, right? And I feel like before I healed, my dreams were very like scary or
Mhm.
scarier. Like I used to have like
Mhm.
bad, like I want to say I'm using quotes for bad dreams, but that they were
Right.
like a little different. Like now my dreams are like adventures, but I don't know if it's because I know I'm the character that it's different now. But when I'm
Yeah.
dreaming, I have like I'm going on like these adventures and I feel like I'm doing work places and sometimes when I wake
Yeah.
up I'm exhausted. And it's really funny because it
Exhausting.
never occurred to me that I guess once I woke up it occurred to me that there's so much more to this world than we have any idea of like what is going on
Yeah.
here. There's so much more than meets the eye. And the dreams, how it plays out, you think that it's just an imaginary thing, but like it's really you on like a different timeline in a different realm. But all the
Different realm.
timelines are running at once. So it's like, is that just another timeline, another dimension that you happen to pop into? It's just so deep to me. It really is. It's
You
so deep.
know,
So deep.
I mean, by even saying what you're saying, like I'm thinking about how we're learning about for the, just the imagination state and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And as you were talking, it made more sense to me in that moment. Like okay, if it's the unseen, you know what I mean, then how come we can't imagine it to be that we are in other places that necessarily here? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think
Yep.
once we come to that realization that that's happening, then it's almost like we already are multidimensional, but we're really just like understand what that means to be that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it won't be so much of a contrast on like here or there. It'll just be like it just reminds me of Doctor Strange. It just reminds me of Doctor Strange how he was able to go into these other realities, but it was still you know what I mean, experiencing
Right.
him watching the lady, get married when he with or whatever, one he loved or whatever, watching her get married and stuff, and just all these different experiences. So I'm telling you, I think I'll be feeling like I'm like even in this lifetime of me being here, um, I feel like I've had so many lives in one
Yes.
like time, I guess. I don't know. But then I think about how like you go to sleep and you wake up, and that could very, very well be,
A whole
I'm a
lifetime.
different person. Yeah, but my memory still remembers. I don't know. It's just like the awakening is just so many. It has so many broad thoughts that could, or possibility, should I say? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I
Yep.
don't think that it's being made up just because we're thinking it and feeling it. I feel like it's to each his own from your perspective.
Well, I
You know
want
what
to
I
give
mean?
that disclaimer too, because, some people might hear this, and I know people have different terms for things. Like, we don't really give
Yeah.
things titles. See, I feel like the people that give things titles, it's because they need to attach like a meaning to it for themselves. And that's
Yeah. Yeah.
totally fine. That's not how we roll over here. We roll from like actual experiences that we personally have. So I don't know technical terms. And I know some people talk about like astral travel and they're doing all this
Yeah.
other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, I don't know. I don't know what they do. That's not what we're doing. We're doing like our actual experience. Like, we're not going into like the CIA's website and like following a
Yeah.
guide
Like
and a cheat sheet and reading. Like, nobody's
right.
doing all that over here. This is like us sitting and this, like, when we talk on this podcast too, like, this is straight up how we talk on the phone. This is what we talk about. So
Yeah.
like for us, this is us. So I know some people are probably like, oh, well, that could be this, this, and this. And it might be. But for us, we
That
don't really
part,
label it because
right.
it's really not a thing.
Like I have no clue. I have no clue.
I have no clue. And it's stuff that like the same thing, like the dream, like I've always had crazy vivid dreams my whole life, but I just thought
Right.
everybody did. But then, here's the other thing. So I had said to you even about like the one dream I had. Like, do you ever see people talking in your dream, or is it like telepathy in your dream? So we had said telepathy, like you don't see people talking, right? But then it's like to the next level of that is we are just consciousness. So really, if we did not have our vessel, our body, we would just be consciousness. So in these dreams, as we're dreaming, you're communicating on other levels with other consciousnesses without a body.
Yeah.
And it's it's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't know. Is your camera moving kind of slow? Is your camera going?
No, but I saw
the regular.
Wait, now you're good. It was like sticking a little bit. You're good now though.
Yeah, mine is sticking over here, but it's fine.
I feel like it could be the full moon too. I don't know.
Huh?
Oh wait, no, it is a little bit.
I don't know what's going on, but
no, but definitely like the telepathy piece. I was thinking about that because it's like that's something that if you don't have a body, that's how you communicate. So it's almost like when you're doing it in a dream, that's exactly what it is.
That's so deep because it's true. Like I don't know. It's almost like in a dream, I'm like, yeah, I'm hearing and stuff from like a different place. It's not like having the five senses. It's like I could like probably see the person or whatever. I don't see myself necessarily, but I know, like, okay, you look like this or whatever, based on what I think I look like or something. I don't know. But then I'm seeing the person, and then, but when I'm talking to him, it's not mouth moving, it's not a voice box coming out, nothing. It's like telepathy.
Right. Like, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about dreams lately. Because lately they've been super vivid and like just weird. I'm experiencing like a lot of. I feel like this is what I feel like is happening for me. I feel like in my dreams lately, I am going through my past lives that I have lived before. Like for instance, when I had Elise, so my oldest daughter is going to be 20 years old. When I was pregnant with her, I worked at Outback Steakhouse as a waitress, bartender, whatever. I am dreaming about waitressing, bartending, restaurants, about the people I worked with, like people that I haven't talked to in 20 years. Like,
wow.
But I'm dreaming about these people. I'm seeing them in my dream and I'm like, oh, hey, like, what? Like, what is this? But I feel like I'm closing out a cycle of my life. And with that, I'm like collapsing timelines in my sleep. That's what I feel like lately is doing for me. Because I feel like I'm closing out that old version, like that old of who I thought I was. Like, you weren't just a bartender. You weren't just a waitress. You weren't just a mom. Like, you're here doing like real life stuff now. Like, you're doing a podcast, you're helping people. And it's all things that I never thought would ever happen. And I guess now I'm just like smashing it down and like throwing it in the garbage. I don't know. It's really weird.
I don't know because I don't know. Like, this is how it was in the rooms and stuff like that on Clubhouse. When I start hearing people talk, I start seeing stuff differently. I do. Like when you were just talking, I was like, okay, so what if that was a dream the whole time? All the stuff that you're saying that you were doing.
And when you wake up, that's like really when you wake up. Like,
Like everything that you were doing, like, because it's like, was I even really doing that? Every day is like,
I don't know.
because more and more now, it's like I have to sit there and really, really think about, like, what did I do yesterday? Like, I lit, like,
Mhm.
honestly, today, I do not, when I talked to you earlier, you was like, you did it. And I was like, what did I even do yesterday? I don't even know what I did yesterday. And then I was like, is it because I'm getting older? And then I hear young people saying it.
Right. Yep.
It's something that's,
Yep.
it's like almost like all that, like you said, the timelines are just coming into, it's just coming in, and there's no recollection of like what happened kind of like prior, if that's even,
Mhm.
because is that even a thing? I mean, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
because
Like
it's only
everything
now. So it's like, you know what, too, though? Think about this. So if the time is always now, right? But
mm-hmm.
before you knew that, you were holding on to the past, but looking to the future. So you never really got to
Ignoring
be
the,
in the
yeah,
moment. So you didn't
never.
realize what time was really doing. Because even like for me, like I lived in 1996 for a long time. And I'm telling
Oh
you, like,
man.
I wasn't being here today.
Mm-hmm.
So like, who
Yeah,
knows? Maybe it was all a dream because, mm, like, how do you even know?
girl,
It's so deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. And I love this because,
it is beautiful. It is, because even like I've told you so many dreams I've had, and I'm like watching them actually happen. But
yes.
it's like not really. It's like, how can I put it? It's like happening differently, but then I can
Hmm.
like tell, because there's certain things inside of them is letting me know that it's the same thing that happened in the dream. Like, it's kind of like being
The
revealed
theme.
that that's the dream that I was having, but it's like happening.
Right.
Like even if we're talking about something, and then you'll be like saying something, I'll be like, oh, okay, now I get what that's saying, and what the dream was saying. Like those, like that, those dreams that I had those dreams like I had like a series of dreams that kind of, to me, is was kind of like telling me my future pretty much. And that was like from 2000, I want to say maybe like 6 to like maybe 2011, maybe something like that, 2012,
Hmm.
because I was, oh my god, yeah, 2012 was really a big one. And those things keep running back to me, like, and kind of giving me like a clue onto like this is what it was meaning when it was saying this and that, but then it'll show up like looking like different,
Right.
or you know what I mean? It would give me like a little bit of a hint that that's what it was, but literally revealing to me what was really going on. And you know what? I see that it's because I was raising in my vibration more
Yes.
and more. I
Yeah.
think that, you know what I mean, when my vibration was lower, that it wouldn't really resonate with me or something like that. Like, really, that's really a thing. Like, and it's definitely, I'm gonna say this, it's definitely an individual walk. It's definitely an individual perception. It's nothing to put like my thoughts or beliefs on anybody else, or make them see how I see, because there's no possible way you can see how I see it. You
No.
see what I'm saying? We can't, we
And
don't, that's not even really
that's
a thing.
huge. That's like a
So,
huge, like, like anybody listening to that, that's a whole mic drop because
mhm,
you can never see anything that anyone else sees,
you
period.
can't.
You're always going to interpret it from your perception. Like there's, even if you give somebody the same exact thing, they're going to see it one way, you're going to see it another way, and that's the beauty of it. But that's literally how creation is. Like
Mhm.
we are all fractals of the whole. So like you're seeing through a different set of the same eyes almost. It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Like a different
it's
angle.
so deep. Yes, a different
So
angle. And instead of people want to be like, oh well, this is the way I do it and this is how it works and right, that's great. That might work for you and that is amazing. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else. But you can share it so people
You can share it.
they can say, oh, all right, well, either it's confirmation or it's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, if I do this, maybe that could work for me, but I'm going to do it in my own way.
You can't.
In my
You have to do it in your own way. Yeah.
Because it's like an insult not to. It's an insult.
Yeah.
To yourself. Like you're literally, you sell yourself short. Like being yourself is the most amazing thing you could ever be.
Man.
Because it takes so much to be yourself. Like
It is.
a lot of people could never. They could never because they don't even know who they are. Imagine, like I know because I used to not know
Man.
who I was, what I liked. Like somebody said, like, what do you like to do? I don't know. What do I like to do? I had to like really think about that until I started like living for my own life.
You when you start being you, then you can know what you like. Because I don't think I was being
exactly.
You know what I mean? As far as like, because I was like, I now I know what kind of car I like. Now I know what kind of house I want. And
right.
I know to some people might be like kind of late in the game, but I mean, it's never
right on
late.
time.
You know what I'm saying? I would never change like how I feel about myself for the world. Like I feel unapologetic about who I am, literally. But I remember I was apologizing for who I am and stuff like that, and playing small and being all, you know what I'm saying? When it never was a thing. It never was a thing. Like the best thing in the world.
I remember. Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying the best thing in the world is to be yourself.
I was thinking about
realize it is when you are yourself.
That part. I remember a woman I heard, and she was like, because somebody was walking in the grocery store and they bumped into her, and they were like, "I'm sorry," and she goes, "Don't ever say you're sorry." And he was like, "But I bumped into you." And then they were like, "Right, but were you sorry for like existing?" And I was like, I apologize all the time to people. You're apologizing for existing as you? And I was like, oh my God. And that made me sad. Because I'm like, I've been apologizing, like you just said, for years. Oh, I'm sorry. My apology. No.
Right.
Whoever doesn't like you how you are, they're just not your people. That's it.
Yeah.
You might not have a lot of people, but you'll get the right people. You'll have the right people around. Like, listen, the circle's so small, it's a line. And that's okay.
Wow.
Because I'd rather that, because at least I know the people around me. I don't have to worry about who I'm around. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But so please, like that, you can't put a price tag on that ever. Like ever.
You can't. You can't. And you can't try to be something that you're not either. You know,
part.
Like trying to be somebody else is just not going to happen. No matter how you try. No matter how much you try, it's not going to happen. You can always take little stuff like, oh, you know, oh, girl, I like that, or da-da-da-da, or, you know, whatever. But the way you do it is the way you do it. No matter if you try to copy it to the letter. There's no way it could possibly be. You know what I mean? Like, nothing but you. You know?
But people steal people's ideas all the time and steal their sayings and their content. And I mean, it's really, I feel sad for people when they do that, because it's like if you continue to copy people, you're not learning yourself. You're not learning what you can do. Like when I used to work at that multi-level marketing company I was with, we used to copy and paste posts, but like they told us to. They never said, hey, here's a post. You can take the idea, but take that and like draw on that. Make that inspire you to write your own They never told us that. And then I was like, why am I copying people's posts? I know how to write.
Straight
Like I can write a
plagiarizing.
sentence.
But you
Yeah,
get
it
in
was
trouble
like,
for plagiarizing in school and all this and all that.
yeah, and then they're
That's
telling
okay
you to
now.
go through life and copy and paste.
Yeah.
So I was like, then I felt like a bad girl. I was like, oh wait, I don't know if I should be doing this because I don't want to like hurt. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings because you have to make a thought in your head.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Most people don't think. And it's not to be rude. It's true. Most people do not think. Most people don't think. And then on top of that, they don't think for themselves. Like we're taught what to think, but we're not taught how to critically think. People aren't taught to make critical thinking decisions. We see it all. I see it all the time. You know?
Yeah, and come to find out, you're creating by your thoughts.
Yep, that aren't even yours.
I'm telling you, this whole thing has just been the Diamond Sutra. All of it has been saying the same thing over and over again. Like the fact that you think a thought and you actually are creating it like every second. There's not even like a number that you can even put on there. Boom, boom, boom. Like every just millisecond, whatever you're creating. You are creating your environment, and it's not even like it's so much that you. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. Like it just is. You know what I mean? That's it goes down to it's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's everything. It's in every moment since we've been born, except we just didn't know.
Yeah.
So like, I even think back to like when I was little. I used to love when if I would get in trouble, and like I wanted to like make them like my parents like make them like mad or something. I would like pack a little backpack with like snacks and shit because I was like a fat little kid, and I would go take my fat ass and I would walk in the backyard and go hide. And I'm like, you created all that in your head. Like my parents probably weren't even doing anything to me. Like now that I look back, like I'm like, were they what were they, I don't really know what anybody was doing when I was younger because I don't feel like I really got parented that much, but maybe I don't know. I was like running away in my head to like the backyard, like going and sitting in the backyard, like eating snacks, like waiting for somebody to come get me. Nobody was walking back there.
Really?
And it's so because we're doing it from a young age. We don't even know. Come to find out.
But
but now at least we know. At least we could change what we're thinking because
now we know. But think about all the times that you were little, right? And it was like, oh, that was just your imagination. You know what I mean? But then you get grown, and then the imagination like just leaves. No, it doesn't.
No, we just
creating the whole time.
Yep,
from your imagination.
I always think about.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty much done at this point.
Like I even think about I think about when like I lost my imagination, like where I lost it at, and I know it was like when my mom died. When my mom died, I feel like I fell off the frequency of that. Like I went from I was like a high frequency kid. Like I was constantly creating. I was drawing. I was singing. I was painting. I was making. I was doing.
Yeah.
And then when she died, that was like, boop. That was it. And then I stopped doing the things I loved. And even as an adult, then I got pregnant. And then I had Elise. I was a single mom. I was working as a bartender. I was working 40-hour weeks. Then I worked at the state. I worked at a psych center. Then I was doing all crazy shit. I had no time to go into my imagination because I was literally I was in survival mode. So until COVID happened, once COVID happened and I could slow down, I know for everybody, COVID wasn't great, but for me, COVID was probably the best thing that ever happened to my life.
Mm-hmm.
I got to sit with myself and I got my imagination back. I found out what I loved again.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm a lot of fun. I bought a pair of roller skates. Like,
yeah.
I started doing fun things for me again. And I was like, wait, I'm supposed to be living as I was as a kid, not as an adult. I'm sitting here like, oh, like I have kids. That's, I got to be an adult. But I should be experiencing with my kids and having fun with them. And I wasn't having fun. I wasn't fun.
Yeah, because you think about, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I lived like so many different lives. And like when you say like that right there, like, because it's like the imagination is like, think about it. You're literally making up stuff when you're little. There's not, unless you have some type of warden type of parents or some type of stickler type of people or like real strict, you are really literally making stuff up as you go, like little fun stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden you get grown and then it's like it went away. But you're really just only living out what your environment tells you that you are supposed to be like.
Exactly.
In whatever way.
Whoever's around you, whoever's in the vicinity of you,
you
that's what you're
in your own brain. Yeah. You're still creating, you're still making it up. Because whatever's going on around you, it's still your interpretation of what's going on around you. It's still your, you know what I'm saying? Still your perception of what's going on around you, right? Is it deep or what? And then you start
sick. I get sick. Well, because then it's even like
it's deep.
Because then it's even like, what do you? Okay, so you literally created all of it, right? With your thoughts, you attracted it in with your vibration, and it's like it took me till I was 41. 41. And last year when I did wake up, when I first woke up, I was so annoyed. I was annoyed at myself. I was like, you're telling me, you dummy? Like, what were you doing? Like, what have you been doing? I was like so annoyed at myself. Man, and I could not shake it. I could not shake it for it took me like a month to where I was like, you know what? You're right where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
You're not behind. You're not ahead. You literally had to go through each piece of that for this.
Yep.
And then I I had to really forgive myself. And that was a whole other piece of healing because what? Like, I don't know. I feel like when I woke up though, I feel like my whole, a whole soul, activated in me. Like, I felt like a brand new baby. Like, I felt like a baby. And I was like, oh my God, look at the flowers. Look at the trees. I was like, I love everything. And my heart was just exploding with love. Like, it was so crazy to me. And I was like, God, this is like a brand new newborn. And I thought that was such a weird way to feel.
Well, that's what I said. And the Bible says you have to be born again. You must be born of the Spirit. That's like being born of the Spirit. Yeah. I mean, to me, when I'm hearing you talk, that's literally a demonstration of how you're born again because we're supposed to receive it as a child, receive it as a baby. That's like getting nurture from the mother, breastfed. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just getting
it's so deep.
It's deep. Like you're really getting the nourishment and fed and clothed and everything from your mother,
from the Spirit,
all over again.
It's
you
so
see what I'm saying? In a spiritual way, because once you're aligned in your spiritual, then your thought pattern and everything is going to produce something totally different than what you had been experiencing prior to.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
see what I'm saying?
night and day. Because it's
And I really feel like that is something that you have to. That's why I'm really a lot of times I'm so now I've been more into perspective first of all, second of all being neutral because the same measure that it was for you to get somewhere is the same measure it's gonna take for somebody else.
yep.
People are not on that level.
Mm-mm.
Think about how much. I mean, I'm telling you, I literally was like crying,
Yep.
kicking, like what? I felt hoodwinked. I felt like what? Like, I'm like Ashley Kutcher. Is that a really thing? You know, is that a real thing? Because I'm
Right.
like, what is going on? You know what I mean? But it does take surrender. It does take being angry for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny because this route that I'm on now is making me hear what the Bible is saying. It's not like, oh, I'm a Bible 3-piece suit. I gotta be on
Right.
in pews or I gotta be up on the stage singing in the choir. No, it's like the words are like penetrating me because it's like the activation is actually happening from the route I'm receiving it from now. Like it was
Right.
like whole search outside of myself. And I thought I was really doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was not doing anything. When, it's just and so therefore I'll be having like a heart for people like, man, like because this information right here and this route and the fact that you have to really just kind of let go, it's a letting go, is
Yeah.
not an easy thing. It's not an easy concept, especially when you're trying to like think about it. It's something that has to
You
like
can't
consciously
think. You
happen.
can't think. You
Yeah, it
can't
has
think.
to.
You can't
No,
plan.
no.
See, that's been something I've been thinking about a lot lately is that we literally go blind into shit. Like literally. And we don't even question what's going on. We're just doing.
Mm-mm.
We're not even doing, we're being. And literally doing the least.
That would never be
And
me
that's
before. I'm telling you right now, never.
no.
Mm-mm.
And like
Mm-mm.
even to just sit and like the whole thing, it's really absorbing like that you didn't have to do anything in the first place at all. You didn't, and you didn't have to look outside. Like when I think about how I used to outsource so hard,
Mhm.
and like now, I would never. I would never. Like we talk,
It's kind of
but we,
dangerous to outsource.
yeah, because you don't know. You don't
Mm,
know.
mm.
People can only be where they're at. Like that's something you have helped me with that because that was a hard concept for me personally. I had a very hard time with that because I'm like, what do you what do you mean I just gotta
Yeah,
let
yeah.
people be who they
I had
are?
a hard time too. Yeah,
Yeah. And I was
that's the
like,
only reason I can
God,
even
like,
tell you only
yes.
out of
Yep.
experience, literally.
Well, thank God, literally,
Please.
because that for me, that's something that is a big thing for me. And it's so funny because I did a video on it today on
Hmm.
TikTok and on Instagram because it's something that now I get it, but
Right.
I got it, but I wasn't like letting it. I wasn't just going, you know what? It just is. I was like, yeah, but you should do this. No, you shouldn't. You do, you want to be an asshole? Be the best one you can be.
I mean,
You
that's
like
what I'm
it?
saying.
I love it. Like,
Give it on over. It was hey, you know what I mean? And there's so much freedom in that. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Because think about how your mind and brain is all twisted up and tied up behind what somebody else
ugh,
is not even seeing. You're just wasting time doing
you know how
that.
many years? You know how many years I wasted? Like
Years.
years, not days, years with people, with
Decades.
situations. Like I think about like my stepmother. I think about Elise's dad. I think about all these people that did not mean a lick of dirt in my life. And like literally I was like, oh my God, can you believe what they did to me? No, but I can't believe that I sat and like put up with it though. Like now that I look back, I'm like, Rep, that was all you. So now, like you say, time sensitive, like it doesn't last long now. Like you have to process through and just keep moving because it's only now. It's only now. You can pull the past with you, but it doesn't even exist. I think that has been the most powerful lesson that the sutra taught to me was that it's only now. So you could bring the past with you if you want. It's just going to occupy space and it's not even real. It doesn't even exist. You can't touch it.
It's not even there. It's not there.
You can't rewind. You can't fast forward. Even tomorrow, it'll be now. Later, it'll be now. Now is now. So it's like wherever you are, if you're listening to the podcast now, it's right now for you. Even though we filmed it now. It's so deep. It's so deep.
It's so deep. And you know what? I know I was fucking to say this, like the Diamond Sutra, it's not free. It's not necessarily free. I see how it's an activation now. I see what that meant. I know we kept on saying it's an activation, but now I feel because it's something that when you have something that's an activation, it doesn't turn off. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? So even if we didn't understand,
says it in there. It even says it in there that's what it does. And even when I read it, I didn't understand what it was talking about.
No, it's a whole battery pack. It's a whole like right now I feel the sutra in me like explaining and saying that's what I meant when I said that. Because when you try to go into it trying to understand what it's saying right then and there, that's not what it's for. It's for it to rise up in you along the way.
Right.
Because it's an activation. It's activating you to reprogram your mind and start to not hold on to arbitrary conception or past stuff because you create it again in your present because you are a creator.
Yep.
It helps you so much.
And whatever you hold on to, you're going to just create more of.
Man,
if I would have not, listen, I wouldn't have been ready to receive all this years ago. But think about that. How many things we created more of because we didn't know that what you gave energy to, you created more of that. So I'm sitting here like, oh, these men were pieces of shit. Like, it wasn't them, it was me. I was creating that. Like, I created more of it, and then more of it, and then more of it. And it was like, but why?
Just like
I didn't even have to do that. Yep. You know, doubt, shame, all of it.
Brings that stuff up, and it manifests in a person.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
Sick.
But see, the manifestation is not the first thing. It's the unseen is first. You know what I'm saying? So we always try to
think it.
Isn't that deep? Because you try to find a reasoning in a vessel. You know what I mean? But that's the manifestation. You know what I'm saying? That's like after I eat, I use the bathroom.
Right. It's really, I think that's why, like, I know on the one episode we talked about like creating from the unseen. And like, if you don't realize that you are even a creator, and then you don't realize that everything starts with a thought, how would you even know? Like, I was just walking around just doing and da-da-da. Like, now, like, when I look back, I'm like, the hell were you even doing? Like, you're just like half-assing life. I know, but like, it never occurred to me. Now I'm like, all right, now I can be intentional because I know that my thoughts are creating. So my mindset has to be so drum tight. And like, what I've noticed lately too, as we're on this journey,
Mm.
there are so many, and especially since we've started the prosperity book,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of distractions that pop up when you are on a path of greatness, it's sick. It's sick. The amount of things that have popped up as a distraction. And like you said, when a distraction comes up, it's there to see if you're going to go back down to the vibration you left already. And I'm
Girl,
like,
you over here hitting some nails on some coffins. You hear me? Because it is so like you gotta actually partake.
And you don't have to. That's the other part.
You don't even but like it's right there. Like,
yep,
partake,
it's like
partake.
it's
and you're
like, hey,
no.
Do you want some? You want some of this trash? Come here. Like you already left this behind, but do you want it again? And you're like, no, I'm good. And then it's like a couple days later, it's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because I got it for you. I got a deal for you. You want it? I got it. Here it goes. And it's like, no, I'm good. And then some other shit pops up and it's like, sheesh. No, like, no, stop.
You know what?
It's fucking annoying.
I know that you have ventured out into like really going into reading the Bible and stuff, and you read it with Grace and stuff like that. But do you remember the part where Jesus went up to the mountain, whatever, and they said that Satan met him there and was like, bow down and worship me, and I'll give you all of this, like all the like material things and all that. You remember that part? I can't really quote.
I don't remember.
But when you were just talking, it made me think about that because it's like I look at it so as me now that it's crazy. Like from what you just said right now, I could just correlate that with just myself, like from the aspect of going within, as opposed to just going outside to find something outside of myself. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like bow down and worship the material or just, I'm not saying the material stuff is bad. Don't get me wrong, please.
No, but the things versus
you going within, like making that the thing before you.
Right.
And it's like it just literally made me think of distraction because if I'd rather like go like do all this, do all that, than to really sit with myself and to look at what's going to be good for really just me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then let it manifest through that way instead of trying to, myself.
All these other things.
Is that crazy? Like I'm understanding it now. I'm just so happy. It's like a brand new day. Like I'm like.
But even like think about it with like I keep thinking about it even with like jobs and stuff. Like so even what I'm doing right now with virtual assisting, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be doing this at all. Not even a little bit.
Right.
And the little bit that I do it, right? Mm-hmm. I know that is dwindling to the end. Like it's almost done. Mm. But it is literally a distraction from what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh. Even though it's something right now, it's like a necessity in order to pay my car note.
Yeah.
However, like that is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And it is a distraction. Even the things popping up around it, like just the little things dealing with the whole situation, distraction.
Yeah.
People I haven't talked to popping up in my face, distraction. People I've cut off already, distraction. Situations I've already nailed off, distraction. Yeah. And it's like, whoosh, like, can I get a break? Like that's enough. Like enough for me. I'm good. Mm-hmm. And especially I feel like the Lionsgate portal that just passed, I feel like that was like a clearing out cycle to bring in like newness and like a new adventure. And I really feel like that's even like with the dreams that I've been having lately, like I feel like those have been really like closing out cycles Like, because even in the one dream that I was like literally digging up gold.
Uh-huh.
And because
Yes.
I'm finally like seeing
See?
I'm seeing like, okay, Melissa, like you're on the right track. Like what you're doing right now is what you're supposed to be doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I always say the quote, like you're 3 feet from gold. And that's exactly in that
Wow.
dream. That's what I'm sitting there digging up the gold because it's right there. It's right there in the dream. And instead of me going off track, I got to keep forging ahead. Like I could pick up jobs doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to because it's not on purpose.
Man.
And it's just another distraction. And even though it could be something super lucrative, it's not on purpose. And I just, at this point, I can't do it. I can't. I don't even want to. I don't even want to because I already know it's like, it's just something else being thrown to see like, all right, you want to do this now? Like you're doing too much on this side. You want to go do this? And it's like, no, not really.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
And you know what? You have to be in that. It's almost like you have to be in this type of mindset to even think like that, because other people probably gonna think like, oh, well, how are you gonna survive? It's like all these other hows. Like I dealt with like I was talking to you about the whole how thing. You see what I'm saying? And I was talking to my cousin last night about the how thing, and it was like it came to me that the how is already done.
Yep.
So we really don't have no bit, but see, it's just the concept and the consciousness of it. That's the thing. We're not in the right consciousness.
Right.
To even receive what is already there for us. And the Diamond Sutra paved the way for that too. I'm not saying that I'm already there because I it's still certain little tug of wars I go through, but the more and more I'm renewing my mind, the more and more I'm seeing how you have to, I think I was saying that to somebody in the you have to lean back into it, like lay back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like just like lay back and enjoy the ride.
Yep.
And I know it's easier said than done. It's like it sounds, but it's almost like you are fighting against the grain and you don't even know it. As far as what the purpose is for you personally.
See, the thing is though, the minute you're hitting resistance on anything, the minute that's it. Like now, if there's a little bit of resistance, nope, done. Because there's not supposed to be any. That's the power of the surrendering. That is the power of like leaning back and being like, all right. And even like we talked about in the abundance book, like we're reading that book and all I keep hearing is my consciousness of God as my supply is my supply. And the more I apply that in my life, the less resistance I'm hitting because I'm not looking for something. I'm not it attracts to you when you go blind. Like you literally have to go blind to the shit. Like you cannot be like, oh, well, I got to do this. And how is this going to happen? The how's done for us, but we want to make it into something because we're like, all right, well, how could it be so easy? But it's supposed to be easy. We make it hard. We make it hard. I wrote this quote. I got to find it. I'm looking for it as we're like talking. It's about the how. But I'll find it as we're talking. It's literally, we don't realize the how is done. There's nothing you need to do. You have to literally just be.
Yeah.
And you have to know that like what you're doing is enough. I think that was a hard thing for me, like because we're programmed to think like you're supposed to be running around. You got to have like 15 jobs. You got to be having crazy money. You got to be chasing a bag and hustle culture and do this and do that. That's not living.
Mm-mm.
That's not living.
But like I said, when you go within, you start seeing how that's not it. You know what I mean? You start seeing it with different eyes and stuff like that. Because honestly, if you're not really taking the time to listen, then you don't really hear that. So it's like Charlie Brown's teachers. We try to explain that to people. That's why you don't do all that type of explaining. You just let people know when they see you doing it. That's when you can say, okay, well, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But that's just because you asked. Not because I'm just like, hear ye, hear ye. Yeah.
She said, hear ye, hear
just
ye.
Podium and all that. Like I used to do all that. Like just hella, just extra, just no. But
I think too, like people get caught up on the fact that like, okay, so if I have a vision for my life, right, I can't expect other people to get that.
No.
And I feel like a lot of like before I woke up, like I was like, yeah, well, this is what I'm gonna do, and da da da. And then people be like, you can't do that, and I was like, well, maybe I can't do that.
Right.
And I was like talking myself out of being me and being great. But then I realized that you don't even think enough of yourself to think enough of me that I could do something.
That's it.
So,
and a lot of times people are just projecting, because think about it. If you have to have a certain type of self-love to even love somebody else, like literally.
Exactly.
Like literally. You have to already have like love in your heart. And
that's hard for people too. That's hard.
But then you also have to know that you need to have that reciprocated. Because when you be having like love in your heart for people and that's not being reciprocated, you're still like putting up with it,
mm-hmm.
then it's still you anyway. It's still you. You know what I mean? Because you don't even know enough about, first of all, spiritual law and all that kind of stuff, and the revolving thing, not to just deplete yourself because you love somebody else so much. But that's not loving yourself, to love somebody else so much that you would allow them to just treat you any kind of way. You have to be like, you know what? I'd rather just go cold turkey. I'd rather just be like by myself before I sit up there and deal with this or that. You see what I'm saying? It's like we'd rather just go ahead and do that. But it's like but see, you're practicing self-love when you're saying, you know what? I'm not going to let that keep happening.
Right.
I'm not saying, okay, 1 or 2 times you get a clue. Okay, sometimes it might take a couple of times, whatever. But then it's like, how are you feeling? How do you feel?
Yep.
How's that making you feel? You know what I'm saying?
If you're not bringing peace, if you're not peace, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't care who you are. If you come through and you're not peace, if I ever feel anything that feels like icky now,
I have to feel like hella agitated. I'm walking on pin needles around you. Your energy's bad, and you're oh, nothing's going on, nothing's wrong. Listen, ma'am, sir, stop it.
Enough.
Because energy and stuff is first. Nothing, keep on trying to downplay. That's first.
Yeah, that's the first thing. I mean, I didn't understand that until like when I woke up. Like that is the only thing.
The only thing.
That's it. Like you cannot be looking at people as people. You just can't. You just can't. It's not who they are.
Mm-mm.
It's the energy. And just like I've had this one energy follow me around, Jesus Christmas, for years. And it just presents itself in different people.
Yeah, see? Now,
until you battle this energy. And then you're like, no, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And even after you battle it, even after you battle the energy, it still keeps coming for you. Still keeps
coming. And it being different people.
Yep.
Whoever's susceptible to that energy that's just trying to combat you.
Yep.
It's a real thing. But until you start looking at the person like, oh, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that, so-and-so. It's not so-and-so.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's the energy that is allowed to inhabit that lower, that, you know what I'm saying, that lower
That lower
density of,
frequency.
yes.
Yep.
That's the
So deep.
that's like the mastery of the whole thing. And it's one man today I was listening to, he was talking about how we're majority water, even in our blood and everything, liquid.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? From the inside. This right here is a vessel. Think about if all the liquid came out of your body, you're going to dry up. And he's like,
Yep.
you literally, like, we have the mat, we have the like the heaviness or whatever about us, and we have the weight and all that kind of stuff based on the liquid and stuff like that that's in our bodies.
Yep.
And the other, you know what I'm saying? But if that all that dried up, all the liquid out of every portion of your body dried up, you'll be able to blow you like the feather. I was like,
It's true.
whoa.
Well, did you ever see, there was that book, The Hidden Messages in Water, and it's from Masaru Emoto, and he does all different like sound frequency things, and he talks to the water. But like if you talk to your water before you drink it, it changes the molecular structure of the water. So if you say that you love your water, and you are literally ingesting love, like
what about if you say that you love yourself? You're changing the
molecule. Watch out, people. I don't know.
Water in your body that's making you, that's flowing through your body, your blood, your everything. You see
I think of the lady. There's a lady on TikTok, and she sings this song, and it says, I'm not going to sing it because we're just not doing that, but she goes, every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. And she does this whole little ditty with it, and she sings, and then she starts singing. She's so happy, but she's literally injecting her cells with love. And she's like a genius to me. And I laugh because I sing it because I can hear her, especially like I'm just getting over this cold, and I'm like singing it all day today. And I'm like, you gotta, these are little things, but they make such a big difference.
It's healing.
And you don't even know because you're thinking, these are just words, but they're not even. There's so much to it. It's so deep. So deep.
That's like, you know, conversations like this and just stuff like this, it just brings in just certain ways of looking at something and that you never really look at, you know, and then it starts to bring an awareness to yourself and how, you know, you can make it better for yourself just by even talking to yourself positive, like love, like having the love for yourself first.
Like going in the mirror and saying, I love you.
Yeah.
There's that one thing, it's the Ho'oponopono prayer. And it's like, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And there's another one to it too. There's 4 pieces of it. But when I did that the first time, like when I actually looked in a mirror and said that to myself, I was sobbing because when you ever sit, I never as an adult was like, I really love who I am. Now I do, but I wasn't doing that. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I love me. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But if you don't know, like, I didn't grow up around people like, do you love yourself, Melissa? No one was asking me that. But now, like, with the kids, I'm like, I said the other day in the car, I'm like, do you love yourself? Like, what do you love about yourself? And like, make them even think about it. I wasn't thinking like that. But now to know.
But think about that. That's the stuff that they're going to remember, that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have memory, but they remember that. Then now they'll always be creating that.
Exactly.
And they're now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. It's awesome.
Even like, even like in the dream, like I was talking to them, even about like, I'm asking them, like, what do you dream about? Like, do you remember? And Grace is like, no. But like, I want to know now that I know that it's really just, to me, it's real. So I'm like, all right, well, what are you dreaming now? Pay attention. Versus before where nobody's paying attention to that. But now it's different.
It is, because, you know what, I just told you, like I think last night or whatever, or whenever we dream, I had a dream about a lower density of myself, like a lower, and my tooth was all like loose, and
Oh my god.
I was in fear, and I was like, oh my god, poverty, like.
Closing out a cycle.
But then I was like, you're dreaming, girl. Come on.
Yep. Old timeline.
See what I'm saying?
So.
And it was like, okay, wake up. And I woke up and I was like, to where I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is not happening. Like, oh, it's not loose. And I don't know what that means when you dream about loose teeth and stuff like that, but I was in a whole like state of like emergency. Like, whoa.
She said emergency.
And I was so happy to wake up. I was happy to wake up.
You're so funny.
Because I'm like, okay, if I really like ponder on that and not, I don't know, when I'm not being where I am right now, I don't know. Like, I don't even know why I saw that. It was just a fear factor, but it didn't last because I was like able to get myself out of it or something. Like,
yeah, because it's either a different version of you, an old timeline that you
or something
don't even know. Do you know what I mean? That's why I think
so deep.
These dreams, especially lately for me, the more I'm looking into the different things I'm dreaming about, I'm like collapsing old timelines and healing.
That's what I was doing. That's okay.
But it could have been a life that you lived just in a different
version.
Yeah, like a different version of you on a different timeline running now. Like, what? So deep. So deep.
Like, get her out of here.
I know. Get that girl out of here. We're done with her.
Bye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man. I know it might seem crazy or sound crazy. I know it resonates with a lot of people as well. So,
oh my god, yeah.
Important.
There are people having dreams that, like, I see a lot of people on TikTok talking about what they're dreaming about, and there are people that are predicting things. I mean, there are people that, they're dreaming up. They're dreaming up worlds and then creating them.
Yep.
Like, this is all like very real stuff. That's why I feel like that's why I really wanted to talk about it too, because I think people think, oh, it's just a dream.
No.
Maybe, but not really, because you're sleeping here, but you're awake somewhere else.
Right.
And when you're awake somewhere else, or like if I'm awake here, I'm sleeping there. And when I think about it like that, that just changes shit for me. Because to me, I never looked at it like that. I was always like, oh, well, it was just some crazy dream. But you don't even know. There's so much to this world that we don't even know. There's so much going on that we have no idea about. And like looking at it from that perspective now, and looking at what you can do in your dreams. Like I know we've talked about before, like people are going into dreams and dreaming together on purpose. There's even different like agencies that they do that together. There's a whole astral realm. Like there's a lot going on.
Right.
Yeah. And this is all stuff that like might be new to people, might be new to us, but like there have been people talking about this for
been doing it
thousands of years and have been doing it. So it's not something that's not existing. But again, like everything else, it's like right under your awareness until you don't know. You just don't. There's so many things that like and then I think another thing that I've learned too is that cognitive dissonance. Like when you tell somebody something like that you might know, like even we're talking about dreams and we're like, oh, like you're asleep here or you're asleep here and you're awake in like the astral realm. And they're like, that's impossible. See, when people don't know something, right away they assume it's not true because they haven't experienced it. But when you're experiencing these different things, you can't tell somebody what they're experiencing.
No. And also, you know what? When I hear you saying that, I'm thinking like when you have another contrast of belief, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's going against your belief to
Right.
people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
So
you
it's
have
like,
to.
you know what I mean? And
That's a whole
I'm
mindset.
so yeah, because I'm so grateful right now that my mind is open enough to not just be
Receive
so stuck
anything.
on this one. Like that could be a possibility for somebody, or even for myself. I'm not so closed minded to where I'm like, oh, that just cannot be it, based
Right.
on some type of like belief system that I've had, and I feel like that's just concrete and that's just solid. You know what I mean? When we really have not even been operating in the in the Christ consciousness in the first place, where
Right.
things are again created from the unseen anyway. You see what I'm saying? Like these
And
things have been like indoctrinated and told and just these certain type of blocks and ways, and it's not even ways, it's like one way type thing. And as soon as you think outside of that, then you're getting looked at like or like, oh, that couldn't be that. But I'm just happy that I don't even like think like that anymore. Like I'm like,
mm-mm.
okay, you know, because it probably not for me, but for you, okay, that's probably your
Right.
reality.
But that's like the
You
more
know?
you learn, the more you know that you don't know fucking
You
anything.
don't know nothing,
Nothing. And
nothing.
that, see, there are people that are like, oh, I know. I know. You can't tell me. I really don't know anything.
You really don't.
I don't know anything. Every day I'm met with something else and I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah,
Because there's so, the world is so vast. That's like people still thinking Earth is all there is. Really? Like, you think there's only humans here? Like, you don't think there's anything else that exists here? You don't think that it could be possible that we share? No, no. And people are like, no, that's ridiculous. Aliens could never be real. This could never be real. How do you know? The world is so vast? There's so much. There's so much.
yeah.
You know, wait until we talk about like what we were even saying the other night about if we went backwards and
Mm-hmm.
rewound to the beginning of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did everybody come from? That alone is like a
Just
whole thing
one. Just came from one.
from one, but like then you go back and then when we were talking about how like with the zodiac signs, like there's 12 zodiacs. Like, did everybody come from like a sign? Did two people come from a sign? Like, what? I'm like, nobody's talking about this stuff, but it's just stuff that, like, if
Is
you
it?
think about it, like, where, like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just am curious. I'm always thinking, like, well, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I like to go back. Like, even
Right.
when I first woke up, I had to really sit and go, okay, well, how did I get here? How did I get to where I am right now? And I literally went and rewound, and I went back to that book, which was the Be Here Now book.
Mm.
That was the first book that started me on my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And after I read that, that's when I found the sutra. But like that, there was like a whole progression, a whole lead up to it. So like I like to rewind everything and go back to like the nitty gritty bare bones of it. But we're gonna talk. We'll wind up talking about that. I think we should
Yeah.
also do. I want to definitely do something with self love. Like I think that's so important. Like
Yeah.
for everything we're talking about tonight. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, self love really is what starts. I feel like that's what really gets your journey, even to be able to go. Like once you're like, all right, I'm choosing me. I'm
Girl.
choosing to love me. I feel like that's the go. Go. Like, okay. Like,
I don't
here we
even know
go.
what it is about you talking tonight, but I'm telling you, it's making me just because I'm thinking like, okay, imagination, right?
Hmm.
So I remember in the room, it was a download that came like, you know, okay, you do choose your parents,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
you already know from the, and I'm going back to the Penny Pierce thing, from the way she explained the one and then the 1, 2, and then the 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Trinity. It's like the one, which is you, who knows that you're gonna need to be here. You're gonna need two parents, so you pick those two,
Right.
right? And then it's them, and then it's you, because you
Mm-hmm.
came through them to make the three. You see what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
it progresses from there. So if I am an aspect of God,
Mm-hmm.
then my version of me coming here would be from my perception as Tangenique, me as Tangenique here, playing
Right.
out here. But then the full circle of it is, okay, now I need to have self love so I can get back to the one,
Right. Yep. To be
the full
complete.
circle of the one, because it took me not to have, it took for me to subtract, I guess, from myself, or
Mm-hmm.
to divide from myself, or whatever it is, to even have an existence here,
Right. Yep.
as you know what I mean. But then to come
Mm-hmm.
back into the form of the one, I would have to go back within myself.
Yes. Yep. It's like folding in. Like if you were making bread, I'm
Yes.
seeing like getting into the fold.
Yes. See now you I don't know what it is about you tonight, but it says going back into the fold, because it's not even this whole thing that we have been indoctrinated with. It's literally
No.
unfolding and then folding back up.
Yep. Like an accordion.
Period.
It's so deep. It's so
And
deep.
it was all you, and not like it's you as the one though.
Right.
Because when we
Yep.
talked about the diamond and the degrees on the diamond,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm over here on this degree angle of the diamond, you on this degree, you can't see me.
Right. Right. It's like being in the in the haunted, not in the haunted houses, but like when you go to
That
the
mix-
you go to like the fair
yes.
and you walk in and there's all the mirrors. That's what that is. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I'm doing the most tonight.
Doing the most. But stay tuned.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think next week maybe we'll do self-love, because I feel like that's like the start. That really was the start for me. I know for me that was
All
definitely.
this stuff was cliche to me until I start experiencing it. And that's why you can only speak from your perspective.
Yep. Well, that's
Because-
even with awakening. Oh, people are like, that's not real. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know it was
I
a
had
thing.
never heard of it before.
Girl, please.
I'd never heard of it. So when it happened, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Like,
here?
wait, what?
Wait. And then somebody said to me, they go, you sound like you had a spiritual awakening. And I was like, I do? I did? And they were like, this is normal. Especially like in other countries, like they talk, this is like a revered, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? Because I don't want to tell anybody if it's like weird, because
Yeah.
people are fucking weirdos, and I don't want to say anything, and they're like, look at this girl, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
And he was like, no. He goes, in my country, he came from like India or somewhere.
See? Yeah.
He was like, no, this is a beautiful thing. Like, you should be like talking about this. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know. Like, it was really weird. Like, the whole thing's weird. And he was like, I'm telling you, you're gonna be fine. And like now we can talk about this. Like, you know how many people out there that are probably like, oh my God, like, am I a weirdo? Like,
yeah, no, you're
am
not.
I okay? So
Nope.
that's why, like, I love talking about this, because I thought I was, yeah, like, oh, it's so incredible. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
So you guys will have that to look forward to. I love it.
This is so great.
So,
Just being us.
yep. And that's the part. Because if you can't be you, what are you doing? That's one thing. Anybody that's even listening, like, if you're not being yourself, if you're being like a watered down version of yourself,
Mhm.
don't
Don't.
stop playing so small.
Mhm.
Because see, that's the thing. Like people want you to be small because they're scared.
Of what
They're
you, the
scared.
possibility of you, and they're scared of just being who they need to be as well.
Yeah. Like I used to be afraid to be me too. I was like, God, what if
Me
people
too.
don't like me? What if people stop talking to me? Did a lot of people stop talking to me? Yes. Am I a weirdo? Yes. Do I love me? Absolutely. Like I would do it again
Am
in
I
a
happy when
heartbeat.
some people stop talking to me? Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, the amount of
Thanks.
aggravation I've saved, priceless.
Thanks.
I would do it all again. Like, what was it? I think Faith Evans sang that song. If I had to do it all again, I would. I absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
So if you guys are listening, I'm telling you, be you, do what you need to do for you.
Yeah.
Self-love. We're going to talk about self-love next week. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be amazing because
Mhm.
it's such a big topic. And it's not, people think self-love is like, taking a bath.
Hair done, nails done, everything did.
Like it's
I thought that.
so deeper. It's
Mhm.
deeper than a bath and nails. And don't get me wrong, all that
No,
stuff
all that is the
you
bomb.
want
I'm
to
gonna do
adorn
it.
yourself.
I'm
You
still
want
doing
to.
it.
That
But
of course, but it's
mhm.
really the heart work of it and really the nitty-gritty inside of you. That sets it all off.
Yes.
So we love you guys so much and we thank you for listening.
Yes. Love
And
you.
we are going to be back next Thursday at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
And we will be talking about self-love. And if you found value in this, please feel free to like and share. Share this with your friends, your family,
Yes.
whoever you want to share it with. And we love you guys. So I
Love
hope
you.
everybody has a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye.